Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Girivaradhari Jayo Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Lava Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajandaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajandaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayorada Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayorada Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Jayo Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana 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 Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Vanachari Jayorada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayorada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayorada Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, oh Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Anharam Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Go Pramanandi Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4. Text number 3 and 4. I will read text number 3 because there is no purport, and then together we will read text number 4. Tato jagama bhagavan amoghanugraho vibhu pujito survavaryena suyamana rajeshwarai. Translation. Then Lord Brahma, who awards infallible benedictions, departed, being worshipped by the best of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, and being praised by great sages and saintly persons. Text number 4. Evam labdha varo daityo. Evam labdha varo daityo. Bibhradhe mamayam vapu. Bibhradhe mamayam vapu. Bibhradhe mamayam vapu. Mamayam vapu. Bhagavati akarodvesham. Bhagavati akarodvesham. Braturvadam anusmaran. Braturvadam anusmaran. Evam labdha varo daityo. Bibradhe mamayam vapu. Bhagavati akarodvesham. Bharturvadham anusmaran. This chant. Evam labdha varo daityo. Bibradhe mamayam vapu. Bhagavati akarodvesham. Bhraturvadham anusmaran. Evam labdha varo daityo. Bibradhe mamayam vapu. Bhagavati akarodvesham. Bhraturvadham anusmaran. Anyone who want to online chant?
Evam labdha varo daityo.
Evam labdha varo daityo.
Bibhradhe mamayam vubuhu.
Bibhradhe mamayam vapu.
Bhagavat Yakarud Dvesham
Bhagavati akarodvesham
Pratur Vadham Anusmaran
raturvadham anusmaran
Evam labdha varodatyo
evam labdhavaro daityo
piprat demamayam vapuhu
vibradhemamayam vapu
Bhagavatya karodvesham
Bhagavati akarodvesham
Bhraturvadam Anusmaran.
raturvadham anusmaran evam thus labdhavara having obtained his desired boon daitya Hiranyakashipu Vibrat acquiring Hemamayam possessing the luster of gold Avapu a body Bhagavati unto Lord Vishnu the Supreme Personality of Godhead Akarut maintain Dvesham envy Bratu Vadam the killing of his brother Anusmaran always thinking of. Translation. The demon Hiranyakashipu, having thus been blessed by Lord Brahma and having acquired a lustrous golden body, continued to remember the death of his brother and therefore be envious of Lord Vishnu. Purport. A demoniac person, in spite of acquiring all the opulences possible to obtain in this universe, continues to be envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tato jagama bhagavan amoghanugraha vibhu pujito sura varyena stoyaman mana prajeshvarai. Then Lord Brahma, who awards infallible benedictions, departed, being worshipped by the best of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, and being praised by great sages and saintly persons. Evam labdhavaro daityo vibradhaman mayam vapu bhagavati akaro dvesham bhraturvadham anusmaran. The demon Hiranyakashipu, having thus been blessed by Lord Brahma and having acquired a lustrous golden body, continue to remember the death of his brother and therefore be envious of Lord Vishnu. So, demoniac psychology, we are continuing today describing and trying to understand the psychology of demons. So, as we already mentioned some time ago, Krishna very precisely described demoniac psychology in his Bhagavad Gita. But just to remind ourselves what demoniac psychology is all about, just to see what is what in this material world, because this is the beauty of our Krishna conscious process, Bhakti Yoga, process of purification. By this process of purification and this beautiful transcendental Krishna conscious Vedic philosophy, we are able to recognize what is what, to distinguish bad from good and good from bad. So in order to know what is good and what is bad, we need to obtain knowledge from these three sources of knowledge, namely Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. So let's go to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, text number 17, where Krishna is sharing transcendental knowledge about what is bad. So what is bad? Demoniac nature is for sure bad. Krishna described this. Atma sambhavita stabdha dhana mana manadvitaha yanjante nama yagnaiste damebhanai vidhi purvakam. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only without following any rules or regulations. Purport. Thinking themselves all in all, not caring for any authority or scripture, the demoniacs sometimes perform so-called religious or sacrificial rites. And since they do not believe in authority, they are very impudent. This is due to illusion caused by accumulating some wealth and false prestige. Sometimes such demons take up the role of preacher, mislead the people, and become known as religious reformers or as incarnations of God. They make a show of performing sacrifices, or they worship the demigods, or manufacture their own god. Common men advertise them as God and worship them, and by the foolish they are considered advanced in the principles of religion or in the principles of spiritual knowledge. They take the dress of the renounced order of life and engage in all nonsense in that dress. Actually, there are so many restrictions for one who has renounced this world. The demons, however, do not care for such restrictions. They think that whatever path one can create, it is one's own path. There is no such thing as standard path one has to follow. The word avidhi purvaka, meaning disregard for the rules and regulations, is especially stressed here. These things are always due to ignorance and illusion. In next text, Krishna continue. Builded by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. And Srila Prabhupada beautifully elaborated this in his purport. A demoniac person, being always against God's supremacy, does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is caused by his so-called prestige and his accumulation of wealth and strength. He does not know that the present life is a preparation for the next life. Not knowing this, he is actually envious of his own self as well as of others. He commits violence on other bodies and on his own. He does not care for the supreme control of the personality of Godhead because he has no knowledge. Being envious of the scriptures and the supreme personality of Godhead, he puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptural authority. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one can equal him in strength, power, or wealth, he can act in any way and no one can stop him. If he has an enemy who may check the advancement of his sensual activities, he makes plans to cut him down by his own power. So I don't want to emphasize the point that we have some demoniac tendencies that we acquired in being in this material existence for so long, since time immemorial. But when I personally read this, oh my goodness, I was thinking, maybe I am demon undercover, wearing tilak and putting dhoti on myself, but actually I am demon, pretending that I am devotee. I was so um, confused. My goodness, I have a lot of such demoniac tendencies. So what to do? So therefore, we have two other sources of knowledge, not only Shastras, but we have also Guru and Sadhu, who are capable to elaborate this intricacies of Shastric statements or evidences. This is what we read. We read about wrong attitude, demoniac attitude. In other words, as we mentioned before, we were talking about psychology of demoniac nature. And by being polluted by envy of Krishna, and naturally envy of part and parcel of Krishna, including ourselves, we obtain these demoniac tendencies. So now, being fortunate, being in this process of bhakti, process of purification, we have a chance. It doesn't mean that we already are purified because we entered bhakti process. No, we have a chance to purify it. And from our own activities, by our own activities that we choose, we can speed up the process of purification or slow down. Everything is up to our own attitude. So attitude is extremely important. Sometimes people say that attitude is so powerful, so important that it can make you or you can break you. So it's up to us. What do we want? So what actually is this attitude? What is the attitude? So I went to a dictionary and I read their following statements. Attitude is the key to success, influencing how you face challenges and are perceived by others. Common sayings suggests that a positive attitude can change your life, while a bad one is a disability. Your attitude determines your direction and is more important than skill or circumstances, as it shapes your reality and creates positive outcomes. Attitude is another passage. Attitude is a long-term mindset, while intention is a specific planned action. An attitude is a learned, lasting evolution of a person, object, or issue. It is a mental and emotional inclination that can be favorable or unfavorable. It is a general way of thinking or feeling that influences your behavior. Srila Prabhupada, being the best of the best leaders on this earth planet after Lord Chaitanya, Six Goswamis, and all other predecessors of Parampara, he explained profoundly what actually and from what our spiritual progress depend on. In the very few preface, Srila Prabhupada explained as follows. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattvaguna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. Now listen. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So, now we know that our real business is to develop proper attitude. What type of attitude we will develop? In this way, we will continue our degradation or elevation. So what is the example, like we just had some example of bad attitude, like Hiranyakashipu. He got all different opulences of this universe, and what he did? He just dovetailed this to be more aggressive and against the Supreme Lord and his followers. So what is the proper attitude? What is the example of proper attitude? Krishna also described this in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, in text, in the very first text. So, Krishna mentioned, Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, Idam te tu guhyatamam pravakshyami anusayave jnanam vijnanasat hitam yajñatva mokshase shubhat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved from of the miseries of material existence. And Srila Prabhupada very beautifully elaborated this point in his purport. As a devotee hears more and more about the Supreme Lord, he becomes enlightened. This hearing process is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam. What? The messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are full of potencies. And these potencies can be realized if topics regarding the Supreme Godhead are discussed amongst devotees. This cannot be achieved by the association of mental speculators or academic scholars, for it is realized knowledge. The devotees are constantly engaged in the Supreme Lord's service. The Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him the intelligence. Krishna is giving the intelligence to understand the science of Krishna in the association of not demons, but in association of devotees. Discussion of Krishna is very potent. And if a fortunate person, who is the fortunate person? Devotee of Krishna, has such association, and if a fortunate person has such association and tries to assimilate the knowledge, then he will surely make advancement toward spiritual realization. So now we have all very beautiful descriptions of different definition. What means demoniac? What means bad? And what means proper attitude? What who developed this attitude? Devotee of Krishna. So therefore, we need to cultivate association of those who develop proper attitude. So I compile a little bit like a little recipe for developing a right attitude, what to do and how to do things. So it is mentioned that bhava, the foundation of all genuine spiritual progress, depend on quality of sadhu sangha, association with pure-hearted devotees. Like sometimes devotees asking my Guru Maharaj, and he usually reply for the question, how to become more enthusiastic, how to purify myself, how I should how I should sharpen my hearing and chanting, how I should, all these different hows. You can very simply answer by associating with those who already develop proper attitude, those who develop already some enthusiasm to perform devotional service, those who relishing the topics about Krishna and devotional service. So sadhu sangha is extremely important. Sangat sanjay kama, association gives a raise to desires, like Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 262. Our attitude naturally reflects the company we keep. With whom associate, you become like. If you have fly mentality because your heart and consciousness is polluted by envy, so then naturally what tendency we have due to this wrong attitude? Looking for some filthy things, complaining, criticizing, envy of someone. But what if we develop proper attitude? We want to purify ourselves from all these demoniac tendencies, from these bad qualities. So then we naturally look for association of those who are more Krishna conscious, more elevated. It's not necessary that we need to look for, like very, very senior, Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada disciples, or sannyasis, or something like this. Oh, I don't have my Guru Maharaj here. Oh, I have no association of such and such, Goswami or Swami. Oh, I don't have here association of Srila Prabhupada disciple directly here. So therefore, I'm very confused and bewildered. No. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that actually we can start from very simple definition of pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that pure devotee is one who understood that holy name of the Lord is not different than the Supreme Lord. There's, of course, many other different definitions who is pure devotee. So therefore, this indicates to us that every devotee can be on the platform of helping you. So we shouldn't neglect association of other devotees, thinking that, oh, because I don't have very, very senior devotees here around, so therefore this means that, oh, I'm alone here. I'm so lonely, and I have no any support or guidance. No, this wrong attitude. Every devotee who is Krishna conscious and is doing this very steadily and enthusiastically can be your guide, your mentor, can be your cheering person who can give you encouragement and inspiration. But we need to open our heart. We need to open ourselves. We need to develop proper right attitude. So sadhu sangha is extremely important. Like next instruction we are reading in advice Srila Rupa Goswami gave us, that we need to be very selective with whom we associate. There are different types of devotees. And if we develop attitude of purifying our heart and consciousness, so then we need to look for association of those who are more Krishna conscious and inquire from them submissively. Ask them questions. We shouldn't think that we know everything, but rather ask them questions. How are they doing in the Krishna consciousness? How I can learn from them this quality or understand other things. In this way, we can develop like affectionate relationship with devotees. In this way, we can have this like Krishna conscious friendship, which can inspire us and encourage us to go through thin and thick of this material existence. So regular association with sincere devotees purifies our motives and shapes our vision according to the higher principles of bhakti. We can talk about association of devotees for a long time. But what is the next point? Gravanam, hearing from authorized sources. The second point. Constant hearing of Shastra, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, like we heard from Srimad Bhagavatam itself on the very beginning in chapter first, first canto of chapter first, text 19, Krishna mentioned 19. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. What is the opposite to this statement? Hiranyakashipu. I envy this Vishnu. I need to kill him. I hate him. But what devotee is telling? They relish the transcendental topics about Lord Krishna in every moment. You see? Good and bad. Bad and good. Demoniac and devotional. So what to do to develop this devotional attitude, to develop this devotional qualities? Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Shinvatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayanto Sri Abhadrani Vidgunoti Sukhrit Satam. Shri Krishna, personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Properly heard and chanted. So what to do and how to do? Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. That's it. So, what is next? In conclusion to the Shravanam, the mind absorbs the mood of what is repeatedly hears. Thus, hearing transcendental topics transform material attitudes into spiritual ones. What is next? Seva, service in a humble mood. So we have first Sadhu Sangha, next Shravanam, Kirtanam, then Seva, service in humble mood. Practical service done with humility and gratitude melts the false ego Srila Prabhupada often said that service purifies the heart. Without service, our attitude remains theoretical. Through service, realization awakens, because service is just evidence, it's proof that I care, I love. I want to exhibit my devotion. So how to do this? By favorable action, by devotional service, by seva. Next, number 4, Sharanagati, cultivating dependence on Krishna. When we accept that Krishna is the doer, not us, pride fades and gratitude grows. This surrender softens the heart and makes it receptive to divine guidance of Lord Shri Krishna and his representatives. Number 5, self-reflection and prayer. Sometimes we hear that prayer is so powerful, like Gurudev for the question of His Grace, Palaswarup Prabhu, what to do to get more devotees for morning program? And then answer was, remember? Yes, pray for more devotees. So I see that he is very serious in his prayers. Please continue your prayer. Today we have 6, 7 devotees for morning program. It was so ecstatic, so sweet. I was melted in the transcendental vibration of the samsara that devotees were chanting. Beautiful. So the more we continue being together, worshiping Krishna together, praying to Krishna together, then for sure we will stay together. Like in American statement, it is mentioned even on the dollar bills, correct? Together we stand, yeah? Huh? United we stand, divided we fall. Exactly. It's exactly true. So self-reflection and prayer. Regular introspection and heartfelt prayer invite Krishna to cleanse the subtle layers of resistance within. The Bhagavatam 1:17 describes that Shivatamutsa Katha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Hridayantu. Already we read this. Krishna personally removes impurities from the heart of the sincere listeners. So our business is to just go to shower cabin, open the faucet to get water, take the soap and start to make process of purification. So process of purification starting with Brahma Muhurta time. Go to the temple after physical shower, taking bath. Come to the temple and take transcendental spiritual shower by chanting the prayers of the Supreme Lord together with an association with other devotees. And this way we can purify our heart and consciousness from all these dirty contaminations. 6, gratitude and tolerance. These two qualities sustain the right attitude even in adversity. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that a devotee's greatest wealth is kshama, forgiveness, and kritagnyata, gratitude. So, in other words, we need to develop attitude of gratitude. Attitude of gratitude, because it's very helpful in process of purification. By dint of Srila Prabhupada mercy, we got perfect facility here in Gita Nagari. We have everything what is needed to cultivate not only civilized Vedic life, but cultivate spiritual life and become fully Krishna conscious. We can by taking advantage of the facilities that Srila Prabhupada created for us, we can create here in Gita Nagari spiritual paradise. Because we have everything here. We have Shishirada Damodar, we have devotees of different levels, we have seniors, we have juniors, and those also in between. So we can learn from each other and inspire each other to make spiritual progress. We have deities, we have devotees, we have cows, we have land, we have devotional service, we have shastras, we have sadhus, we have actually everything what we need to make spiritual progress. This is just question of a right attitude. So if we will pay attention to our attitude, do we have bad attitude, wrong attitude, or we have good, proper attitude? We need to be very, very cautious to screen ourselves. And if we do some little deviation from right attitude, we need to immediately back our consciousness, our attention to continue with right attitude in order to do devotion, to do spiritual progress in Krishna consciousness. I think that was quite enough for today. It was quite few important points based on shastric evidences. Do you have any questions or comments? Yes.
Oh, Mr. Chairman from class, and I don't have a question. You just said some thought. Wanted to verify if that's correct understanding. You mentioned about the sadhusanga, and you wanted to asking questions. But I often find myself that I don't have questions, generally. Especially when it comes to day-to-day devotional service and so on, because and maybe the bodies are finding themselves in the same situation that they kind of know what to do, and ask somebody else at least like very philosophical class about the same contrast that the questions appear, but otherwise I will ask questions, but I don't get that questions. But you mentioned it's important. So is it proper to ask questions not from inquiring and new information, but ask questions to confirm that what we do is correct? In other words, just two questions came to my mind. One is, especially when it's secret devotee, to asking them like, if you would do this service, let's say cooking breakfast or whatever, how would you do it? That's one question. And then in this way, they can share from their own experience and realizations, and we may get some tips on how to improve what we already do. Another question is, which I think it would be lovely if we all have this attitude of asking that question, is like, is my service satisfactory? Like what I have done, is it the way that is pleasing, or how could I improve? Yes, I just wanted your thoughts about this, because sometimes when this topic is brought up about asking questions, that the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, it's like asking some philosophical questions about some particular aspect of bhakti. But then as you were talking, I had this thought, and I want to just hear you. Feedback.
I don't know if devotees online, they hear the question. But Krishnamai was making actually comments. She explained very nicely already her question. She was making a point that during the presentation, she heard about importance of association devotees, and then in order to develop a relationship with other devotees, we need to situate ourselves on the position of one who is inquiring, asking questions. And so in this way, we can develop a relationship. But she found herself on the position that sometimes she has no any questions unless there's some philosophical class where some curiosity can invoke some curiosity and ask some about some clarification and some intricacies or some complex topics. So how to ask questions? And she actually mentioned that that in due course of contemplation of the subject, she understood that maybe asking question of devotees, not necessarily connected with philosophy, but practical questions connected with devotional service. Like, for example, she gave an example, like different devotees have different skills and they are on different levels of purification. So then you can ask question, Prabhu, can you give me tips how I can improve the taste of preparations that I am doing this morning or lunch or something? Yeah, this type of questions are very valuable questions because this question is referring to devotional service, and devotional service is Krishna himself. So the more we talk about Krishna, or devotional service or pure devotees, so then more we can purify our consciousness and elevate our understanding about our performance of devotional service. Because the more we perform devotional service with love and devotion, the more it is drawing Krishna's attention. So you actually answer your question, how we can ask questions to other devotees. But we should also remember that that if we want to develop a relationship with the other devotees, so we need to learn the art how to ask, questions, humble questions, because if we think that we already know everything, then it's a very wrong attitude. What Socrates, even such a great philosopher, not spiritualist, not great devotee of the Lord, what he mentioned, that I know that I don't know. He is coming from the position that he don't know. Therefore, he is eligible to open himself to learn more, to know more. But if somebody knows that I know, then why he should ask questions? I know everything. Like Hiranyakashipu. Why I should have authority? I'm authority. Whatever I do, everything is authorized. It's up to me. So this is the demoniac tendency. So we shouldn't be impudent and arrogant in this way, but rather we should always be humble. And when we see other devotees as Prabhus, master, so then naturally we situate ourselves as lower position, and always trying and be ready to glorify the person, to serve the person, to inquire from the person. But if we think that we know everything, how you can approach in this way? No way. Because this false ego, false prestige, arrogance, proud, is not allowing us. So therefore, it is very important to treat other devotees in proper way. So in this way, we will be able to ask proper questions and learn from them a lot of different wonderful things, how we can engage in ourselves in devotional service.
That if we remember that Krishna is unlimited and his devotional service is also unlimited, then that means that there's unlimited possibilities of improving what we already do. Thus, inquiring So in other words, not setting up, okay, yeah, I know how to, just an example, I'm not picking on anyone, but just like was thinking, like dressing Srila Prabhupada, right? Devotees may think, okay, yeah, I know how to do this. I know I have already my hands there, you know how to do it exact step by step. But it doesn't mean that there's no aspect of the service that cannot be done better. Similarly, similarly to anything else, if we think about cooking, even we may think, okay, yeah, I mastered this preparation. I've done it like hundreds of times, and that's it. This is like the best that it can be. It's never the best that it can be in Krishna consciousness because of the nature of Bhakti and Krishna himself. It's unlimited, it's ever increasing. So there's always that we can do something better. If maybe not externally, then internally. When it comes to our attitude that we have when we cook.
Yep.
So asking those questions forever, that should be our forever question, how I can do the service better. Yeah, so just sometimes.
Very nice point. Thank you so much. Time is coming for Guru Puja.
Should be.
Thank you so much for your attention and contribution with your wonderful, inspiring comments. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At 10 o'clock, we are going to celebrate Srila Prabhupada. 10:15. Thank you.